Hortons world welcomes you. What if the giants of ancient times, the Nephilim, were about to return? Legends whisper of colossal beings, neither fully human nor divine, whose time of slumber may be ending. Ancient prophecies warn of a great return, not of saviors, but of powerful, unpredictable forces. If the Nephilim reappear, would we even recognize them? Or would our world be shattered by their staggering presence? What if the Nephilim returned? Their arrival would shatter governments, upend religions, and plunge science into chaos. Cities would crumble, faiths would fracture, and panic would sweep the globe. Humanity would be united, not by hope, but by a shared, overwhelming terror as giants once again walked among us. To understand the Nephilim, we journey back to the dawn of human history, to Genesis chapter 6. The sons of God saw the daughters of men were beautiful and crossed a forbidden boundary. From this union, the Nephilim were born, giants, powerful and feared, a living symbol of divine law broken. Their existence led to the Great Flood, a cataclysm meant to cleanse the earth of their unnatural presence. The Nephilim's legacy is a tapestry of heroism and monstrous tyranny. In ancient texts, they're called mighty men, protectors, kings, even gods. But other writings, like the Book of Enoch, depict them as insatiable monsters, devouring all and bringing ruin. Were they heroes, tyrants, or both? Their story blurs the line between savior and destroyer, leaving us to wonder if our legends reflect truth or our own fears of the unknown. If giants once walked the earth, where is the evidence? Skeptics point to empty museum cases, but stories persist. Bones found, then lost, mysterious disappearances and whispers of a cover-up. Could the Nephilim's memory be erased on purpose? Maybe the true fossils are the colossal stones of Baalbek and Sacsayhuaman, silent testaments to a forgotten giant past. The Nephilim story isn't unique to ancient Hebrew texts. Nearly every culture has legends of giants, powerful beings who shaped the world and battled humanity. From the Sea Tekka of Nevada to the Titans of Greece and the Fomorians of Ireland, these tales echo across continents. What if the Nephilim were just one name for a global race of giants, remembered in different languages but sharing a single mysterious origin? Across Scandinavia and India, ancient myths tell of giants, Jotnar and Rakshasas, powerful beings who stood against the gods and threatened humanity. These stories, from Norse sagas to Hindu epics, echo the Nephilim legend, monstrous superhuman entities who brought chaos and terror. Perhaps these shared nightmares are fragments of a lost global history, warnings passed down through generations. In ancient Mesopotamia, Sumerian tablets tell of the Anunnaki, giant deities from a distant planet who created humanity as a worker race. These beings ruled with absolute authority, casting humanity as their slaves. Were the Nephilim not just giants, but the first genetically modified humans, creations of an advanced extraterrestrial race? The Nephilim's return would fracture humanity, not unite it. Some would see them as divine, fulfilling prophecy, worthy of worship. New cults would rise, hailing the giants as gods or saviors. Others would see them as the ultimate evil, the adversaries foretold in Scripture. Mainstream religions might call them demons, and resistance would become a holy war. Cities would split, temples for Nephilim worship on one block, resistance strongholds on the next. The worshippers might gain power and knowledge, deepening the divide. The resistors would see these gifts as temptations, proof of the giant's deceit. The conflict would be brutal, fought in streets and hearts alike. The secular and uncertain would be caught in the crossfire, paralyzed by fear and confusion. Society would split into three worshippers, resistors, and the terrified masses, all at the mercy of forces beyond their control. The world would be torn between kneeling and fighting, with no middle ground. The Nephilim's arrival would instantly obsolete every human power structure. Governments would collapse, armies would be useless against beings who could crush tanks and ignore our weapons. Chaos would follow, warlords, cult leaders and opportunists scrambling for control. Cities would become fractured fiefdoms, infrastructure would fail and anarchy would reign. Military resistance would only bring devastation, our weapons harming us more than the giants. The Nephilim wouldn't need to conquer. Their mere presence would unravel civilization. Power would shift to those closest to the giants, interpreters, envoys, and cult leaders. A new feudal order would emerge, with the Nephilim as gods and humanity as their subjects. Human sovereignty would end, replaced by a planetary serfdom. The age of mankind's rule would be over, swept away in a single day. The Nephilim would tempt us with knowledge, cures, energy, secrets of the cosmos. Ancient texts warn this knowledge comes at a price: corruption, loss of autonomy, and perhaps our souls. The offer would divide us, accept salvation and risk assimilation, or refuse and remain broken but free. Scientists would be especially tempted, eager for answers and breakthroughs. Many would rationalize alliance, believing they could control the gifts. Dependency would grow, transforming society and blurring the line between human and Nephilim. Genetic manipulation, psychic awakenings, and new technologies could reshape us into a hybrid species. For some, this would be ascension. For others, the end of humanity as we know it. The debate would rage: utopia or extinction by assimilation. The Nephilim's knowledge would be a Pandora's box, once opened, impossible to close. The Nephilim would shatter not just our institutions, but our reality itself. Their existence would defy physics, making the impossible commonplace. Sanity would erode as people witnessed giants bending space, time, and nature. Mass psychological trauma would sweep the globe. Reality would feel like a waking nightmare. Ancient forces and forgotten magics might resurface, blurring the line between myth and reality. Psychic abilities, rituals, and strange phenomena would become part of daily life. Truth would become subjective. Consensus reality would dissolve. Society would lose its anchor, drifting into chaos and superstition. Civilization would dissolve, leaving a world where anything is possible and nothing is certain. In a world without rules, madness would reign. The Nephilim's danger lies in their legacy, the forbidden knowledge of the Watchers. The Watchers gave humanity weapons, sorcery, and vanity, corrupting us for their own ends. Their gifts were poison, severing our connection to the divine and binding us to chaos. The Nephilim, as their children, would inherit and wield these dark arts. They would be sorcerer kings, blending strength with ancient corrupting wisdom. Their return would mean not just giants, but a resurgence of forbidden knowledge. They would tempt us with shortcuts to power and secrets of the cosmos. The warning is clear. Their wisdom is a trap, a Pandora's box of self-destruction. Accepting their gifts would risk repeating the world's first destruction. The Nephilim's return is not just a threat of giants, but of annihilation through knowledge. The ancient warnings speak of forbidden knowledge that brought chaos and destruction to the world. The Nephilim consumed the earth, turning on humanity and corrupting all of nature. The Great Flood was a desperate act to cleanse the world of this cosmic poison. If they returned, reality itself could unravel, and the cost would be the world as we know it. In our modern age of information, you would think it impossible to hide a race of giants. Yet, the whispers persist, moving from the fringes of the internet into the realm of serious inquiry. The stories are disturbingly similar, echoing tales from a century ago, but now supported by digital breadcrumbs and whistleblower accounts. Reports surface of archaeological digs in remote locations, the mountains of Ecuador, the deserts of the Middle East, the caves of the American Southwest, that unearth something impossible. They find human-like skeletons of a colossal scale, bones that defy every known law of biology and evolution. These discoveries are often made by independent researchers or local teams who excitedly report their paradigm-shifting findings to the world. Then the silence begins. The initial reports are followed by a strange and sudden quiet. The researchers who made the discovery might retract their statements, claiming a misinterpretation of the data or an elaborate hoax. The artifacts themselves, the giant femurs and impossibly large skulls, are reportedly handed over to official bodies for further study. They are sent to national museums, prestigious universities, or shadowy government agencies, and then they vanish. Inquiries are met with denials that the objects ever existed. Records are lost. The evidence is simply erased from history, relegated to the status of a local legend or a crackpot conspiracy theory, leaving behind nothing but tantalizing photos and the frustrated testimonies of those who were there. Why would such a cover-up exist in the 21st century? The motives remain the same as they were 100 years ago, but are now amplified by our interconnected world. The revelation of Nephilim skeletons would not just be a scientific curiosity, it would be a weapon of mass destabilization. It would instantly validate ancient religious texts, potentially empowering extremist groups and igniting holy wars. It would shatter the scientific narrative of human evolution, throwing disciplines like anthropology and biology into complete chaos. Global powers might see the control of this information as a matter of national security, fearing that proof of a superior ancient race could cause mass panic, economic collapse, and the complete breakdown of social order. The truth is simply too dangerous to be known, so the conspiracy deepens. Insiders leak tantalizing hints of secret warehouses, vast underground archives where the most world-altering discoveries are kept hidden from public view. These are not just giant bones, they say, but artifacts of impossible technology, relics of a lost age that defy all explanation. The Smithsonian Institution, due to its historical role in these stories, often finds itself at the center of these theories, accused of being a gatekeeper of forbidden history. While the institution officially denies these claims, the sheer volume of consistent accusations paints a compelling, if unsettling, picture. It suggests that the past is not as we've been told, and that powerful forces are working tirelessly to ensure the skeletons of the giants remain firmly in the closet. Perhaps the most disturbing conspiracy theory is not that the Nephilim are coming back, but that they never truly left. This theory proposes that their influence continues not through giant physical bodies, but through their DNA, passed down through the millennia in secret. The idea is that after the Great Cataclysm, the surviving Nephilim or their descendants interbred with the human population. Their unique genetic traits became diluted, but were carefully preserved within specific elite families. These bloodlines, carrying the dormant seed of the Watchers, have been secretly shaping human history from the shadows, forming the hidden aristocracy that rules our world. They are the puppet masters, the true architects of our civilization. This bloodline theory connects to many other popular conspiracies about secret societies and the global elite. It suggests that the world's most powerful royal families, the oldest banking dynasties, and the most influential political figures are all part of this ancient lineage. Their immense wealth, power, and obsession with pure-blooded ancestry are not just matters of human greed, but a strategy to preserve their unique genetic heritage. They are said to engage in secret rituals and pass down hidden knowledge, all in service of a long-term plan to guide humanity towards a future where their dormant traits can be reawakened, and their kind can once again rule openly. We are not their subjects, we are their herd, being managed and cultivated for a purpose we cannot comprehend. Proponents of this theory point to strange real-world evidence. They highlight the prevalence of rare blood types like Rh-negative among European royalty and political leaders, suggesting it could be a marker of this non-human ancestry. They analyze the esoteric symbolism used by secret societies like the Freemasons and the Illuminati, arguing that their symbols and rituals betray a knowledge of our hidden history and a worship of the pre-human entities who were our creators. They even suggest that modern genetic research, particularly in the private sector funded by these elite families, is not about curing disease, but about isolating and reactivating the so-called Nephilim gene, preparing for a new age of giants. In this chilling scenario, the return of the Nephilim would not be a sudden invasion of external beings, it would be an internal awakening. The plan could culminate with a technological or astrological trigger that activates the dormant DNA within these bloodline carriers. Suddenly, the people we thought were our leaders would begin to transform, revealing their true nature. They would become something more than human, wielding the psychic and physical powers of their ancient ancestors. The rest of us would be left to face a terrifying reality. The monsters were never at the gates. They were sitting on the thrones, in the boardrooms and on our screens the entire time, and we willingly gave them the keys to the world. From Genesis to Sumeria, we've explored legends of giants, Nephilim, whose shadow stretches across every ancient culture. Are they real beings or metaphors for our own greatness and destruction? Their story is a dark mirror, reflecting our fears, ambitions, and the dangers of forbidden knowledge. Whether myth or fact, the legend warns, some doors are best left unopened, and the greatest unknown may lie within ourselves. It's a puzzle box with no key, a whisper in a quiet room, reminding us of the world is stranger than it seems. As our journey ends and the candle smoke fades, what magic will you carry forward? Challenging us, repelling us, and forever inviting us to question the limits of our own will. The answer lies in understanding our capacity for darkness and light. And ask yourself, do you believe? Do you dare to explore the unknown, to confront the shadows that lurk in the dark corners of our world? We may stumble upon truths more unsettling than the shadows themselves. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the history of Nephilim. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Hortons World Mythology for more explorations into the world's most fascinating myths and legends. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What other mythical creatures or legends would you like us to explore next? Share your ideas and let's keep the flame burning bright. And as always, stay curious.